In the bustling streets of Adura village lived a woman named Amara. She had once been a beloved daughter and sister, but life's trials left her standing alone. Her parents had passed away when she was young, and her siblings, burdened by their own struggles, abandoned her to her fate. Without a steady income or a helping hand, Amara's life was marked by hardship. She lived in a dilapidated one-room shack on the outskirts of the village. Her days were spent scavenging through the waste bins and dusty streets of Adara, collecting empty cans, broken bottles, and scraps. The villagers whispered cruel things about her as they watched her dirty, calloused hands sorting through trash. "She's a disgrace to the community," some sneered. "Her family must be ashamed," others muttered. But Amara, with her head held high, ignored the gossip. She knew she had no one else but herself to rely on, and she would not let the world's judgment crush her spirit. Unbeknownst to the villagers, Amara had a vision. She collected waste not out of desperation alone, but because she saw value where others saw rubbish. Each bottle, can, and scrap she sold to recyclers earned her a small sum. Over time, she saved every penny she could, living frugally and reinvesting her earnings into her growing collection business. Years passed, and Amara's fortunes began to change. She expanded her operations, hiring a few young men from the village to help her gather more waste. She negotiated better deals with recycling companies in the nearby city, and even started collecting industrial waste. One day, the villagers noticed something unusual. Amara's shack was replaced with a modest but sturdy house. Her clothes became cleaner and better fitting. She walked through the village with a quiet confidence, and her once hollow cheeks were now filled with health and vitality. The whispers began anew, but this time they were laced with suspicion. "She must have done money rituals," one woman hissed. "How else could she afford such things?" a man agreed. The rumors spread like wildfire, and soon, Amara was the talk of the entire village. Men who had once mocked her now approached her with fake smiles and flattering words, hoping to gain her favor. But Amara kept her circle small, surrounding herself with the few people who had shown her kindness during her darkest days. The turning point came during a village meeting when the chief asked Amara to explain her sudden wealth. With calm grace, she stood before the crowd and told her story. She explained how she had built her business from nothing, turning waste into wealth with sheer determination and hard work. "I did not steal," she said firmly. "I did not cheat or harm anyone. I saw what others discarded and used it to build a better life for myself. If you doubt me, come to my warehouse in the city and see for yourselves." Some villagers, ashamed of their gossip, apologized. Others, still skeptical, visited her warehouse and were stunned to see the scale of her operations. Piles of sorted waste were neatly stacked, ready to be transported to recycling plants. Young men and women were employed there, earning honest wages thanks to Amara's efforts. From that day forward, the rumors ceased. Amara became a source of inspiration in Adura village. She taught the villagers how to see opportunities where none seemed to exist, and encouraged them to respect even the most humble beginnings. In the end, Amara proved that resilience, vision, and hard work could overcome even the harshest of circumstances. She was no longer just the lady collecting waste. She was the lady who turned waste into wealth, teaching her community that greatness could rise from the ashes of abandonment. As time passed, Amara's story began to spread beyond Adura village. Local newspapers featured her journey, calling her the Queen of Recycling. Her business grew even larger, expanding into other towns and cities. She partnered with environmental organizations, schools, and government agencies to promote recycling and environmental awareness. With her newfound success, Amara didn't forget her roots. She used part of her wealth to uplift others in her community. She started a scholarship program for children from low-income families, ensuring they had opportunities she never had. She also set up training programs for unemployed youth. teaching them skills in waste management and small business entrepreneurship. The same villagers who had once mocked her now came to her for advice. Amara welcomed them with open arms, showing no bitterness toward the past. Her strength lay in her ability to forgive and her determination to uplift everyone around her. Among those who sought her guidance was a man named Chika. Years ago, Cheek had been one of the loudest voices spreading the rumors about her supposed money rituals. Now humbled, he came to Amara, asking for help to start a small business of his own. "I was wrong about you, Amara," he admitted, his head bowed. "I judged you unfairly. Please, if there's any way I can learn from you, I'll do whatever it takes." Amara looked at him for a long moment before speaking. "Chike, everyone makes mistakes. What matters is that you've learned from yours. I'll help you, but you must promise me one thing." "Anything," Chike said eagerly. "Promise me that when you succeed, you'll use your success to help someone else. We rise by lifting others." Cheek nodded, and true to his word, he became one of Amara's most dedicated apprentices. Over time, he built a thriving business of his own and became an advocate for community development. As for Amara, she continued to thrive, not just financially, but as a respected leader and role model. Her story became a testament to the power of resilience, vision, and kindness. She showed everyone that wealth was not just about money, but about the impact one could have on others. By the time Amara was in her later years, Adura village had transformed. The once neglected community was now a hub of innovation and opportunity, with recycling centers, schools, and businesses dotting the landscape. And at the heart of it all was Amara, a woman who had turned rejection into redemption and trash into treasure. Her life became a legacy, proving that greatness could come from the most humble of beginnings, and that sometimes all it took was one person's determination to change the course of an entire community. As Amara grew older, her story became a beacon of hope, not only in Adura village, but throughout the region. People traveled from distant towns to hear her speak about her journey, and she became a sought-after speaker at conferences and events. She never sought fame, but her humility and wisdom drew people to her. One day, an international environmental organization took notice of her work. They invited her to attend a global summit on sustainable development in Lagos. At first, Amara hesitated. She had never traveled so far or spoken on such a large platform. But with encouragement from the villagers and her team, she agreed to go. At the summit, Amara shared her story with an audience of influential leaders, investors, and innovators. She spoke about how waste management had transformed her life and her community. She highlighted the untapped potential in recyclable materials and the importance of empowering local communities. Her words were met with a standing ovation, and she left the stage with tears of gratitude in her eyes. After the summit, offers began pouring in. Organizations wanted to collaborate with her, while philanthropists offered to fund her projects. With this new support, Amara expanded her recycling network to other regions, creating jobs and promoting sustainable practices. Despite her growing fame, Amara remained deeply connected to Adura village. She spent most of her time there, mentoring young people and ensuring the community continued to thrive. Her modest home was always open to anyone in need of advice, a meal, or simply a listening ear. One day, her siblings, those who had abandoned her years ago, returned to the village. They had heard of her success and came seeking forgiveness. Their once proud faces were now marked with regret, and they approached her with trepidation. "Amara, we were wrong to leave you," her eldest brother said, his voice trembling. "We were selfish and blind to your potential. Can you ever forgive us?" Amara's heart ached as she looked at them. Though their abandonment had hurt deeply, she had long since learned that holding on to resentment only caused more pain. "I forgave you a long time ago," she said gently, "but forgiveness doesn't mean things go back to the way they were. If you want to be part of my life now, You'll have to prove it through your actions." Her siblings agreed, and over time, they worked hard to rebuild their relationship. Amara even gave them roles in her growing business, ensuring they contributed meaningfully. As the years went by, Amara's legacy continued to grow. She was honored with numerous awards for her contributions to environmental conservation and community development. A foundation was established in her name to provide grants to young entrepreneurs in waste management. When Amara finally passed away in her old age, the entire region mourned. Her funeral was attended by thousands: villagers, employees, government officials, and admirers from all walks of life. The chief of Adura village declared a day of remembrance in her honor, and a statue was erected in the village square to celebrate her life and achievements. Amara's story became folklore, told to children as a lesson in resilience, humility, and the power of seeing value where others see none. She had turned her struggles into triumphs, and in doing so, she transformed not only her life, but the lives of countless others. Her spirit lived on in the thriving communities she had built, a testament to the truth that greatness could indeed rise from the most unexpected places. Years after Amara's passing, her influence continued to shape Adura village and beyond. The foundation established in her name, the Amara Initiative, became a global symbol of empowerment and innovation. It funded recycling programs, environmental education, and entrepreneurial projects in underprivileged communities across Africa and even beyond. In Adura, the recycling industry that Amara had pioneered grew into a multi-generational legacy. Her former employees, many of whom had started as scavengers like her, became leaders in their own right. They expanded her business model to include advanced technologies for waste processing and innovative ways to turn recycled materials into valuable products. One of the most significant projects inspired by Amara's vision was the construction of a state-of-the-art recycling and innovation hub in the village. The hub attracted environmental scientists, engineers, and investors from across the world, turning Adura into a global center for sustainable development. The facility bore her name, Amara's Green Legacy Center. The villagers also worked to keep her memory alive in more personal ways. Every year, on the anniversary of her passing, the community organized Amara Day, a celebration of her life, values, and achievements. It was a day of community service, environmental cleanups, and storytelling, where children dressed as young Amaras and shared ideas on how to protect the environment. Amara's family, once fractured, had become a symbol of reconciliation and growth. Her siblings, grateful for the second chance she had given them, became active contributors to her foundation. They shared their experiences of loss and redemption, using their journey to encourage others to repair broken relationships. One of the most surprising outcomes of Amara's legacy came from Cheek, the man who had once spread rumors about her. Inspired by her forgiveness and mentorship, Cheik became an influential figure in the community. He wrote a book titled Lessons from Amara, From Trash to Triumph, that became a bestseller. The book detailed her journey and the impact she had on his life and the lives of others in Adura. Proceeds from the book were donated to the Amara Initiative. As decades passed, Adura village transformed into a thriving town, its economy driven by innovation and sustainability. Visitors from all over the world came to see where Amara's story had begun, walking the streets where she once collected waste and marveling at the profound change she had sparked. Schools in the region included her story in their curriculum, teaching students about resilience, entrepreneurship, and the importance of caring for the environment. Her name became synonymous with hope, a reminder that one person's determination could transform even the most difficult circumstances into a beacon of possibility. Amara's life had ended, but her impact remained eternal. Her story was not just about turning waste into wealth, but about turning despair into hope, rejection into reconciliation, and adversity into opportunity. And so, the Lady of Second Chances continued to inspire countless generations, proving that greatness could emerge from the most unlikely beginnings. Years after Adura Village became a global hub for sustainable innovation, the legacy of Amara continued to grow, reaching far corners of the world. Her life story became the subject of documentaries, films, and even university case studies on resilience, environmental entrepreneurship, and community transformation. One such documentary, titled The Woman Who Changed the World, garnered international acclaim and won numerous awards. It featured interviews with those who knew Amara personally, her employees, villagers, family, and even those who had once doubted her. The film highlighted her journey and the revolutionary impact she had on the recycling industry and social empowerment. As generations passed, her great-grandchildren became stewards of her legacy. Among them was Ada, a young and ambitious environmental scientist who carried her great-grandmother's vision into the future. Ada grew up hearing stories about Amara's struggles and triumphs and felt a deep connection to her spirit of resilience and innovation. Ada took over the leadership of the Amara Initiative and expanded its mission. She introduced cutting-edge technologies, such as AI-powered sorting machines and biodegradable packaging innovations. Under her guidance, the initiative also began addressing new global challenges, like ocean pollution and electronic waste, while still empowering local communities with sustainable livelihoods. One of Ada's most ambitious projects was the creation of a global Amara network, connecting small-scale recyclers and entrepreneurs worldwide. The network provided them with resources, training, and access to markets, ensuring that even the smallest efforts to recycle and reuse could have a significant impact. In Adura town, no longer a village but a bustling city, the annual Amara Day grew into an international festival. Delegates and visitors from around the world gathered to celebrate environmental progress, share innovations, and honor Amara's legacy. The streets of Adura were filled with music, workshops, and exhibitions, showcasing how waste could be transformed into art, energy, and opportunity. During one particularly memorable Amara Day, a holographic statue of Amara was unveiled at the heart of the city. The statue was interactive, allowing visitors to learn about her life, her teachings, and the early days of her journey. It stood as a symbol of her eternal presence, reminding all who saw it that one person's vision and perseverance could change the world. Even beyond her tangible contributions, Amara's life remained a source of hope for those facing adversity. In classrooms, boardrooms, and grassroots communities, her story was retold as proof that greatness could emerge from the humblest beginnings. As the decades rolled on, the world continued to evolve, facing new challenges and triumphs. But through it all, Amara's name remained a touchstone for resilience, innovation, and humanity. In the end, Amara's true legacy was not just in the recycling empire she had built or the millions of lives she had touched, but in the unshakable belief she inspired, that no matter how humble your origins, with determination, vision, and compassion, you could leave the world better than you found it.